Hello there! In today's video, we're going to be going through the history and the lore of the Elder Scrolls. This is a very condensed version, but if you'd like to see a longer one, let me know and I'll be more than happy to make it. I've been told to do these little introductions before the video begins, so if you're here, feel free to leave suggestions for future videos and of course, subscribe to be notified when they go live. Now, let's begin with Act 1, the Dawn Era, covering the Elder Scrolls Arena, released in 1994, and Daggerfall, released in 1996. The Dawn Era marks the chaotic and formless genesis of the Elder Scrolls universe. A time before time, when Aedra, otherwise known as gods, and Daedra, demonic entities, shaped the fabric of existence. In this era, Nirn, the mortal plane, was born from the interplay of divine creation and betrayal. Before Nirn, there was only Aetherius, the realm of pure creation, and Oblivion, the chaotic void ruled by Daedra. The god Anu, representing stasis and order, and his counterpart Padme, unrelated to the Star Wars character, both embodying chaos and change, waged an eternal battle. From their conflict rose Anuel and Sithis, cosmic forces that seeded the creation of existence. The god Lorcan, a trickster and agent of Sithis, envisioned the Mundus, a mortal plane where time, death, and suffering would exist. Lorcan persuaded the other Aedra to help create it, but his true intentions to trap them in its creation were revealed too late. Many Aedra sacrificed their divine essence to build Nirn, becoming Earthbones, and imbuing the world with natural laws. From this primordial creation came the 8 divines led by Akatosh, the dragon god of time, who established the flow of order and time. The other notable Aedra, such as Arche, the god of life and death, Zenithar, the god of work and commerce, and Mara, the goddess of love, became integral to the mortal realm. The Aedra's betrayal by Lorcan enraged many, leading to the god's dismemberment. His heart was cast into Nirn, where it became a source of immense power, the heart of Lorcan playing a key role in future events like the rise of Dwemer and the tribunal of Morrowind. The mortal races were born as the Earthbones shaped Nirn. The Aldmir, ancestors of all elves, and Admoran's, ancestors of humans, emerged as the first sentient beings. The two races were deeply connected to the divine, but their interpretations of the gods' actions led to a long history of conflict. While the Aldmir believed themselves to be the descendants of the Aedra and sought to claim their divine heritage, the Admorans shaped the harshness of life on Nirn, revering Lorcan as the champion of mortality and freedom. This sowed the seed for animosity between elves and men. While the Aedra became distant in their sacrifice, the Daedra remained powerful and influential, often meddling in mortal affairs. Unlike their Aedra counterparts, the Daedra did not sacrifice their essence to create Nirn, allowing them to maintain immense power. Mortals like the Chimera, the precursors to the Dunmer or the Dark Elves, began to worship Daedra such as Azir, Bohethia, and Mephala. Forsaking the Aedra, this worship led to the exodus of the Chimera, who fled from their Aldmir kin to settle in Morrowind under the guidance of the Daedric patrons. The Dawn Era continued with the stabilization of time and formation of the First Era, marking the start of recorded history. The gods withdrew, leaving Nirn to its mortal inhabitants. The foundations of Tamriel's provinces were laid, and the mortal races began to form their cultures, traditions, and conflicts. The creation of the Elder Scrolls themselves, mysterious artifacts that record and shape history, happened soon after and marked the transition from the mythical age to a more grounded reality. Now we move on to Act 2, the First Era, the rise of empires and the fall of elves. Before men claimed dominance over Tamriel, the Islades, a splinter group of the Aldmir, established their empire in Cyrodiil. Known to many as the Wild Elves, the Islades worshipped both Aedra and Daedra, though their worship of the Daedra led to practices of cruelty and enslavement. Their shining cities such as White Gold Tower were centers of magical power, constructed with the assistance of their Daedric patrons. The Islades ruled with an iron grip, enslaving humans, mostly the Admorans who fled the icy wastes of Admor to Tamriel. Their dominion lasted for centuries, until discontent began brewing among their oppressed human subjects. The seeds of rebellion were sown when Elisa, a slave claimed by divine guidance from Akantosh and the Eight Divines, inspired visions of liberation. She united her people and led a revolt against her Islade overlords. The rebellion culminated in the White Gold Tower's capture, aided by an alliance with the Nords and assistance of the perennial Whitestrake, a mysterious warrior whose fury against the elves became legendary. With the Islade Empire in ruins, Elisa established the first empire of Cyrodiil and became its first ruler. She also forged the Covenant of Akatosh, creating the Amulet of Kings, which sealed the barrier between Narn and Oblivion, protecting Tamriel from Daedric invasions. This act laid the foundation for the Dragonfires, a tradition passed down through generations to preserve the stability of the world. Simultaneously, the Nords of Skyrim, led by Ysgramor and his 500 companions, began to expand their influence. After the Night of Tears, when elves slaughtered humans in the city of Sarthal, Ysgramor initiated a brutal campaign of retribution against the slaves of Skyrim, leading to the Merithic Era's end and the First Era's establishment. Ysgramor's descendants solidified Skyrim as a Nordic stronghold, spreading their culture and religion across the land. They revered the Skyforge, a mysterious artifact that enhanced their craftsmanship, and the Thu'um, or Voice of the Dragon, a form of magic gifted by the dragons themselves. While the Norse and Elysians thrived, the elves faced a steady decline. The Islades were nearly wiped out, while other elven groups such as the Dwemer and the Chimere chose to retreat to Morrowind. The Dwemer, otherwise known as dwarves, reclused and chose to advance, focusing on their technological marvels, digging deeper, choosing to distance themselves from mortal politics. And the Chimere, following the Daedric patrons, sought refuge in the volcanic landscapes of Morrowind, where they would clash with the Dwemer over the sacred heart of Lokhan. The Altmir, or High Elves, retreated to the Somerset Isles, becoming isolationist, although they maintained cultural and magical supremacy. The dragons, once rulers of Narn, faced rebellion from the mortals they subjected. Humans learned the Thu'um from the dragons, but it turned against their former masters under the leadership of Jurgen Windcaller. The rebellion marked the dragons' decline, though remnants of the power lingered across Tamriel, hidden and waiting. The First Era continued with the expansion of human kingdoms such as High Rock's Bretons, who emerged from the mingling of elves and men, and the Redguards who sailed from Yakuda to settle in Hammerfell. These migrations and conflicts shaped Tamriel's provinces, laying the groundwork for their alliances and animosities that would persist for a millennia. Now we move on to Act 3, the Second Era, Chaos and the Rise of the Septim Empire, also known by many as Interregnum. something along those lines. With the death of the last Elysian emperor, the Amulet of Kings was lost, and the dragonfires were extinguished. This severed the barrier protecting Tamriel from Daedric interference, and the empire was fragmented into warring provinces. The Eyelid ruins scattered throughout Cyrodiil were left as haunting remains of the past. The absence of a unified power gave rise to chaos, allowing various factions to fight for dominance. Among them, the mysterious people of Akvir, known for their martial prowess, invaded Tamriel multiple times during this era. While previous invasions had been repelled, remnants of Akviri culture lingered, influencing Tamriel's martial traditions. The Dragon Guard, a precursor to the Blades, originated from Akviri refugees who pledged their loyalty to the Remnan dynasty. Their role in preserving the Empire's legacy laid the groundwork for the Blades' later prominence in protecting emperors and combating dragon threats. The collapse of central authority led to the Three Banners War, a conflict among three alliances vying for dominance over the Ruby Throne in Cyrodiil. The Aldmiri Dominion, High Elves, Wood Elves, and Khajiit sought to restore the elven supremacy and protect their homeland. The Daggerfell Covenant, Bretons, Red Guards, and Orcs aimed to create a stable and prosperous Tamriel. The Ebonheart Pack, Nords, Dark Elves, and Argonians, an unlikely coalition, united against shared enemies, simply to protect their territories. The war plunged Tamriel into further chaos with constant battles over Cyrodiil and the White Gold Tower. During this time of division, Molag Bal, the Daedric Prince of Domination, sought to merge Nirn with his Plane of Oblivion Cold Harbor. Using dark anchors to pull Nirn into the Oblivion, Molag Bal's plane meld unleashed undead armies and terror across Tamriel. Heroes arose across the Alliance to thwart Molag Bal, resulting in the defeat of his schemes. However, his interference left scars over Tamriel, with many mortal souls lost or corrupt. Amid the chaos, a warlord named Tiber Septim emerged. Born as Talos Stormcrown, he possessed both martial skills and mastery of the Thu'um, the ancient dragon shout magic. Tiber Septim's ambition was to unify Tamriel under one banner. With the help of Numidium, a colossal Dwemer construct powered by the heart of Lokhan, Tiber Septim obliterated his enemies, forcing the fractured provinces into submission. His campaign of unification culminated in the establishment of the Third Empire, marking the end of the Second Era and the dawn of a new age. Act 4. The Third Era, the Age of the Septim Dynasty. The Third Era marks a time of relative stability and prosperity thanks to the unification of Tamriel under Tiber Septim. Yet, beneath the surface of this golden age lies intrigue, corruption, and the ever-looming threat of Daedric interference. Tiber Septim, later defined as Talos, became the first emperor of the Third Empire. His rule was marked by the consolidation of Tamriel's provinces and establishment of the Dragonborn line. Talos' unification of Tamriel and his mastery of the Thu'um ensured peace for decades, but his reign also left a legacy of imperial dominance, one that would define Tamriel's political landscape in years to come. After his death, Tiber Septim ascended to godhood and became member of the Nine Divines, cementing his role as a protector of the realm. The Third Era saw the rise and fall of several Septim emperors. While the dynasty maintained control, internal strife, assassinations, and civil unrest often marred the empire's stability. During this time, the balance between the empire and provinces grew tenuous. with local rulers growing increasingly frustrated. In a shocking betrayal, Yaegar Thorn, the Imperial battle mage, imprisoned Emperor Uriel Septim VI in a pocket realm of Oblivion. Thorn ruled the Emperor's guise for over a decade, plunging the Empire into disarray. During this time, the hero of the Elder Scrolls Arena emerged, discovering and reassembling the scattered pieces of the Staff of Chaos. With this powerful artifact, the hero defeated Thorn and restored Uriel Septim VI to the throne. The Oblivion realm became a battlefield where the hero of Elden Ring's Battle Spire entered the void to defeat the Daedric prince Mehrunes Dagon. Dagon's failed invasion of Tamriel through the mythical Battle Spire marked one of the many Daedric attempts to dominate Nirn. The Third Era's most pivotal event occurred in Morrowind. Dagoth-Ur, a former ally of the Tribunal, rose to power beneath the Red Mountain. Empowered by the heart of Lockhart, Dagoth-Ur sought to overthrow the Tribunal and dominate Tamriel. The player character in The Elder Scrolls III Morrowind, known as the Near Everine, fulfilled an ancient prophecy by defeating Dagoth-Ur and severing the heart of Lockhart's connection to Nirn. This act not only ended Dagoth-Ur's reign of terror, but it also weakened the Tribunal, leading to their eventual decline. The Third Era reached its catastrophic conclusion with the Oblivion Crisis, a Daedric invasion spearheaded by Mehrunes Dagon. The death of Uriel Septim VI and his heirs left Tamriel without a Dragonborn Emperor to maintain the barriers between Nirn and Oblivion. The hero of the Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion, known as the Champion of Cyrodiil, closed Oblivion gates across Tamriel and thwarted Mehrunes Dagon's plan. With the aid of Martin Septim, the last of Tiber Septim's line, the champion defeated Dagon in the Imperial City. Martin sacrificed himself to transform into Akatosh's avatar, defeating Dagon and sealing the gates of Oblivion forever. This act marked the end of the Third Era and the Septim Dynasty, ushering in the chaos of the Fourth Era. The Fourth Era, the Age of Uncertainty and New Heroes. With the Oblivion Crisis behind them, the nations of Tamriel were left to rebuild in the absence of a central governing force. The Septim Dynasty was extinguished, and the dragonfires remained unlit. The Empire, without a legitimate heir, faltered as its provinces began to assert their independence. The Thalmor, the ruling faction of the Aldari Dominion, rose to prominence in the Somerset Isles, seizing opportunity to impose elven superiority. They began to influence the politics of Tamriel with their eyes set on imperial conquest, particularly focusing on the weakened empire. In Skyrim, political unrest took a violent turn with the rise of Ulfric Stormcloak, the leader of the Nord separatist movement. Ulfric, a charismatic and powerful leader, rallied his people against the imperial presence in Skyrim, calling for Nordic independence. This caused the Civil War in Skyrim, as the Empire and the Stormcloaks battled for control of the province. The war was complicated by the larger threat of the Aldari Dominion, whose influence continued to grow in the Empire's weakened state. During this time, the Dragonborn reappeared, fulfilling a prophecy from the time of Tiber Septim. The protagonist of the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim was the Dragonborn, born with the ability to absorb the souls of dragons and master the ancient magic of the Thu'um. The Dragonborn ultimately played a pivotal role in defeating the revived dragon god Alduin and brought a sense of stability to Skyrim. The Aldmeri Dominion's influence over Cyrodiil and the Empire's weakened state led to the White Gold Concordat, a treaty that severely restricted the worship of Talos, causing immense resentment among the people of Tamriel. The Thalmor's increasing power became a source of tension throughout the Fourth Era as they manipulated events to further their control, including their role in the civil war in Skyrim. With the eventual defeat of Alduin, as Alduin reappeared, so too did the dragons of the past, remnants of the ancient dragon lords who once ruled Tamriel before the mortal races rose to power. The new order of dragons emerged, drawn to the Dragonborn, with some seeking to challenge the hero, while others offered aid in the battle against their common enemies. Alongside the dragons, a new threat arose from the shadows when Lord Harkon, a vampire lord, sought to cover Tamriel in eternal night, using an ancient artifact known as the Ring of Hercene. The Dawn Guard, a group of vampire hunters, took up arms to prevent Harkon's dark ambitions. The player, as the Dragonborn, was faced with a choice, whether to side with the Dawn Guard or join Harkon's forces and becoming a vampire lord, forever changing the balance of power in Tamriel. Now, while it's not clear which one is canon in the Elder Scrolls universe, I think it's safe to say that if the Dragonborn had covered the world in darkness, we would not be getting a 6th Elder Scrolls game, as Alduin's resurgence was tied to an ancient prophecy foretold by the Greybeards, an order of monks who study the voice, the Thu'um. The Dragonborn, who is born with the ability to be able to absorb souls of the dragons, is revealed to be the only one capable of confronting Alduin. Throughout Skyrim, the Dragonborn uncovers this truth, seeking out the word walls, ancient sites containing powerful shouts, different variations of Thu'ums, giving the Dragonborn the ability to not only become one of the most powerful Dragonborn to ever live, but also to face Alduin. As the Dragonborn found and utilized various Elder Scrolls to hunt down Alduin, the final battle eventually arrived at Sovngarde, the Nordic afterlife. It was here the Dragonborn defeated Alduin with the help of Shor, the god of the dead. As Alduin fell, the Dragonborn ensured that the world-destroying prophecy did not come to pass. This moment solidified the Dragonborn's place in the annals of Tamriel's history. Soon after that, it is revealed that the first Dragonborn, Miraak, is an ancient figure who once rivaled the gods themselves. Miraak was the first Dragonborn to master the power of the Thu'um, having gained immense power through his communication with Hermaeus Mora, the Daedric Prince of Knowledge. Miraak sought to become the dominant force in the world. His thirst for power led him to betray the dragons and the Nords as he attempted to enslave dragons to his will. But Miraak's ambition ultimately led to his downfall. The Allmaker, a divine entity worshipped by the Naga and the people of Solstheim, intervened and imprisoned Miraak in an ancient temple where he remained for millennia. Until, shortly after his conflict with Alduin, the Dragonborn that we know arrived at Solstheim, an island off the coast of Morrowind, to confront Miraak, who had returned from his long imprisonment. His powers had grown immensely, and he used his mastery over the dragons in the Thu'um to challenge the Dragonborn. This final battle takes place at the Apocrypha, Hermaeus Mora's realm, filled with forbidden knowledge. It was here the Dragonborn utilized the help of the Allmaker and the support of the Black Books, which were fragments of knowledge from Hermaeus Mora himself. The Dragonborn was able to defeat Miraak, preventing him from using his powers to control Tamriel once more. After defeating both Alduin and Miraak, the Dragonborn became a central figure in Skyrim's history, known for their feats against these ancient forces. Soon after Alduin's defeat, the dragons in Skyrim ceased to be a constant threat, though their resurgence remains a symbol of the power and mystery of the Thu'um. And the Dragonborn, as a legendary figure in Tamriel, symbolizes the continued struggle between the forces of destruction and preservation. They serve as a reminder of the ancient powers still lurking in the world, waiting for the right moment to assert their dominance. And so, that is a history of the Elder Scrolls. At least, it is for now, until we revisit this beautiful, magical, terrifying realm once again.